Do you have children in your home under the age of 6? Was your home built before 1978? If so, you may be eligible for assistance to see if there are unsafe levels of lead in your home. Today I'm speaking with Jason Applegate, Lead Abatement Coordinator, and Diamond Ross, Public Health Educator, both from the Cook County Department of Public Health. Today, at least 4 million households have children living in them that are being exposed to high levels of lead. There are approximately 500,000 U.S. children presently aged 1 to 5 with blood levels above 5 micrograms per deciliter, which is the reference level at which the CDC recommends public health actions be initiated. Unfortunately, there are times when there are no obvious symptoms of lead poisoning until it is too late. But don't be alarmed. We have experts here who are going to tell you how you can test for lead and make sure that you, your family, your children and grandchildren are safe. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Take Another Look.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to tell us about this important program. Let's start. Is this a new program for Cook County?
Yes, it is actually. August of last year, 2018, is when it officially kicked off. And there's several years in the program and millions of dollars in the grant. But we wanted to make sure it was brought to Dolton's attention as soon as we could.
So I qualify. My house was built 30, 40, 50 years ago. I have young children there. What's my next step? Because I thought my house was okay. I don't smell anything. I don't see anything. There's nothing indicating that there's any danger.
And almost all people wouldn't know that there was lead in their home, unfortunately. Once someone qualifies, they're immediately going to get a call from me, and congratulations, you've been approved. Okay. From there, what we'll do is send out a lead risk assessor, and they'll assess the property for any lead hazards. So they'll come with an XRF, spectrum analyzer, hit every component in the home that is a painted surface, and that's so that we can first and foremost identify any surface that does have lead. Once that report comes back, within a week or so, I'd be coming out personally to create a scope of work. Once that scope of work is created, at that point in time, we would schedule the construction process.
This is a free program. It's a federal grant, so there's no out-of-pocket. Even if I have a really old house or I'm calling and we have these issues, whatever is wrong once it's assessed, that's what will be fixed when the specialists come out to check out what's going on as far as lead is concerned.
That's correct. Once someone is approved for the program, it is completely free and funded by the federal government's grant through HUD.
So let's talk a little bit about lead poisoning, just briefly, because we hear a lot about it. Of course, everyone right now is probably really paying attention because they're like, oh, I have grandchildren, I have small children who are in the house. What are some ways that the children can, why is this such a concern for young children, and are they the only ones that are in danger when there's lead in the home?
So no, young children are not the only ones at risk for lead poisoning. Everyone's at risk for lead poisoning. However, young children are still developing. We know that neurologically they're still developing, so they're one of our most vulnerable populations. So young children and pregnant women, we would say, are the most vulnerable for lead poisoning, but everyone's at risk.
Young children and pregnant women.
Correct.
Okay. All right. And now, with young children, there may be some parents who are is there anything they have to do ahead of time? Do they have to do the lead test prior with the child to see where the levels are? Is there something that might disqualify them if everything is okay in the household? What are the specifics on the program and how one would actually take advantage of it?
So the only way to know if you're lead poison is through a blood test. So the child would have to go to the doctor for a blood lead test. However, for our program, it's not a requirement. They are not required to have a blood lead test prior to applying for our program, our grant program. But again, there's no other way to know that you have been lead poisoned without the blood test from a doctor's office.
Now, there's someone who's hesitant right now, Ms. Ross. And they're saying, well, maybe, but there are times when people want to avoid hearing bad news, right? They may think it's bad. What would you tell them? And Mr. Applegate, you can let me know as well. What would you tell them to encourage them to take advantage of this program through Cook County?
Yeah, we want to encourage everyone to apply. Even if you don't know, that's exactly why we want you to apply and or go get your child tested, because not knowing isn't an excuse.
So now, if you're saying getting your child tested, where does that take place? Do you have to take them to a specific location, to their doctor? Is there an approved location through Cook County? What are the requirements?
So to get a blood lead test, you just request it from your doctor. Children at the age of 1 and at the age of 2 in the state of Illinois are required to have a blood lead test if they are part of the All Kids Medicaid program. So the only way you would get a blood lead test is at a doctor's office or your medical provider's office.
Okay. So now, once I call or contact whomever I contact in order to be a part of the program or to try to get the grant, how long will it be before someone contacts me and tells me it's okay? And how long will it be before someone is saying that they want to arrange a time to come to my house and check it out?
Sure. So we've partnered with NHS, and that's Neighborhood Housing Services. And anybody that is interested in applying would call them. They're doing our intake for this portion of the program. And once all of the documentation that is required from HUD is received, that day, literally, you will receive a letter that says, congratulations, you're approved, followed up with a phone call from me personally, and that's where the process would kick off at.
So is there a limit or kind of a cap on the amount of money that one can receive as it relates to the grant? I would imagine that if lead's in your basement, that would be something a little bit more significant, might incur a little bit more of a cost as opposed to perhaps paint in a closet or one of the bedrooms that's off to the side. So is there a limit on the amount that a recipient can receive in this grant?
That's a great question. And in fact, there's a variety of instances where, there might even only be lead out in the yard in the soil, for example. So that would be a very minute amount, if you will, versus a whole house that's, to essentially say it's been dipped in lead. So it can vary from a couple $100s to several $1,000s. So there's a variety of instances that we get, and the severity it just depends.
So basically, whatever you identify when you go to this particular residence, that's the amount that they can get in order to bring it to safe levels.
Correct, and that's what our goal is to make the house lead safe, not lead free, but lead safe.
Okay. Now, as it stands with most grants, the money's not here forever, correct? And you said this was a new program. So those individuals who are interested right now, how fast should they get in touch with somebody in order to get on the list as it relates to being granted, receiving the grant or being a grant recipient?
Sure. Well, prolonged exposure to lead is not good for anyone. And even though we do have time in the grant and money, we want everybody to apply, and we encourage everybody to apply as soon as possible, just because of, there's no reason to go without, especially when there's a service like this in Dolton, and that's free.
Now, from the public health perspective, you hear a lot about contaminants just in general, air pollution, things of that nature. But you were talking to me about some interesting ways that you can counter lead poisoning just every day, just by diet, healthy snacks, healthy eating, things of that nature. Can you kind of go into that a little bit with us?
Yes. So as a health educator, I'm always stressing the importance of having a healthy meal, whether it's a small snack or a healthy meal. We know that having nutrient-dense meals or foods that are rich in vitamin C, calcium, and iron definitely help with the prevention of lead poisoning in children. Having a full stomach, keeping a full stomach in the child definitely helps with the absorption of lead.
So on a regular basis, a child is not in danger of being lead poisoned in normal activities. Is that correct? Schools, things of that nature, they test on a regular basis. So these places where our children are, they're safe because this testing has taken place. But the houses, because these are private residences, there's a specific test that needs to happen on the Cook County level as well, or?
No. I would say a child is exposed to lead anywhere they are. So if the child's playing on the ground or the floor, and there's lead dust on the ground where they can, kids at that age are definitely still learning their hand motor skills, hand and mouth motor skills. So they're definitely always susceptible to being lead exposed. Even exposure one time causes great harm. So it's not limited to the home that you're in. It could be definitely the child's care center. It can be the local, it could be your backyard. You're not limited. So children are always susceptible to lead poisoning.
Okay. So those watching right now, why don't you go ahead and give the information as relates to how they can contact someone and get on the list and be questioned and hopefully qualify for this grant.
Yeah, so I'm proud to say that we're partnering with the Neighborhood Housing Services Organization in the Southland area. So if you live in Dolton, we definitely ask that you call today to enroll. The phone number is 773-329-4149.
Is there, can we apply for this online? Is there a website, or is it only through calling and giving your information?
Right now, it's just a phone call. So right now we have our line that is staffed by a partner. So when you call, we take all the information there. But right now we are just doing it via phone call.
Is there a location where one can go if they're interested in seeing maybe some these tips and tricks that you're talking about, ways to stay away from lead poisoning, these healthy snacks that you identified?
Yes, definitely. The Cook County Department of Public Health's website, Cook County Department of Public Health.org. We definitely have a vast variety of information on our website, a brand new website that we just launched maybe in the last couple of weeks, but definitely on our lead poisoning page, everything I'm sharing with you today is on that website. And again, that's Cook County Department of Public Health.org.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you both, Donna Ross and Jason Applegate, for giving us this very important information. I'm sure that the residents and those who are listening and watching will be interested in it, and hopefully take advantage of this program and this grant through Cook County.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Take another look.